Okay, guys, this is your homework help for variables on both sides. If you look at the problem, we have 50 times the number of months is equal to 100 plus 30 times the number of months. The problem here in this problem is we have the months on both sides, the m on both sides of the equal sign. So we want to put them together. Since 50m is already here by itself, the easier one to move, or the easier choice, is to go ahead and move the 30m over here to the other side. So then that way I can put them together. Now, in order to move it, I have to do the opposite. Okay, so since they're adding 30 times m, I want to take it away because I want to undo that. So I want to take away 30 times m. I do it to one side, I do it to the other. Now looking at this, as I read from left to right on this, I have 50 plus negative 30, or 50 minus 30m. 50 minus 30 is 20. So now I have 20 months, or 20 times the number of months. And then I continue reading across, so then I have my equal sign, so I'm going to bring it down, go back up, go to the right, and then I have 100. So then I'm going to go straight down and bring down my 100. Go back up, go to the right, then I have plus 30m minus 30m. That's going to end up canceling each other out. And so it's like it's not even there. So now you're down to a one-step equation, which you've done over and over and over. This isn't just 20m, it's 20 times m. So the opposite of multiplying by 20 is to divide by 20. You do it to one side, you do it to the other side. That went away, left you with m, the number of months, is equal to. Now, guys, you can do this on your calculator. If you don't have one with you today, look, those end in zeros, get rid of them. So I have 10 divided by 2 is 5. So my answer here is 5. Now, to go back and plug it in, I'm going to use the same equation, but instead, everywhere where I have the letter m, I'm going to plug in the number 5. So in 2 spots, instead of the m, I'm going to use a 5. So here we go. 50 times 5 is equal to 100 plus 30 times 5. Okay, so if I go ahead and look at this, well, what's 5 times 5 is 25, and you add the 0, so that gave me 250. Guys, you do have your calculator, so use your calculator. Here we have 100, but I have 30 times 5, which is 150. So if that made 150, plus the 100 that was already there, is going to give me 250. Now, I'm not using a calculator, so I was showing you the work step by step for those of you who do not have calculators. So since 250 is equal to 250, my answer is correct. Now, you do not have to graph tonight because you don't have access to a graphing calculator. So don't worry about that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another problem. Let's look at number 2. How is number 2 different? Hopefully you said it because it has your distributive property right here. It has the parentheses. So we need to take care of that first. Okay, so looking at the parentheses, I want to do 3 times 5y. So 3 times 5y is going to give me 15. 3 times 5 is 15y. Is that all I do? No, I got to do the whole parentheses. So now I got to do 3 times 2. So 3 times positive 2 is positive 6, or 6. So I'm going to hit plus 6 now. Now that side's taken care of. So I'm going to go ahead and recopy the other side down. So I have 15 times y minus 6. Okay. Now if I look at that, ooh, they look the same. Ah, they are not the same, guys. Don't be tricked because this one's saying minus 6 when this one's saying plus 6. Okay? So do you think this is going to work out? Probably not because the y's are the same. If I move any of them, it doesn't matter which one I move, the y's are going to disappear. I'll show you on this one. Why don't we move the first? Let's just move the first one over. So to get rid of 15 y's is to subtract 15 y's. The reason why I'm not dividing, I know it's a multiply, but guys, you're not trying to separate the 15 from the y. You're trying to move it all the way from one side to the other over here. Because you're trying to move it from this spot to over here. So you got to do the opposite. Take my line, draw my line, start from my left to right, circle them up as I go. That's going to cancel each other out. And I'm left with negative 6 is equal to, and then this right here is going to cancel each other out. So that went away. Is negative 6 the same as positive 6? Well, no. It's not going to work no matter what you plug in. So our answer here is no solutions. You can take any number you want and plug it in. And actually, by doing this, if I move the 6's together, let's just go ahead and move the smaller one over. So negative 6, the opposite of negative 6 is to add 6. You do it to one side, you do it to the other. So I'm going to add 6. These cancel off, but 6 plus 6 is 12. You should have a difference of 12 no matter what we use to plug in. Okay, since I am not using a calculator, let's just plug in 2. Okay, so we have 15 times 2 minus 6. That is equal to 15 times 2 plus 6. Well, 15 times 2 is 30, and 30 minus 6. The other side was 30, but you're adding 6. Okay, so when I look at that, 30 minus 6 is 24. 30 plus 6 is 36. So there's an exact difference of 12. It's never going to work. So the answer was no solutions no matter what. Hi, you're lucky you tuned in. There is one more problem that I'll do with you. If you'll skip down to number 4. If you skip down to number 4, we got a lot of things going on. You can move whatever you want to move. You can move the 2. If you move the 2, how am I going to move this 2? I want to subtract 2m. I want to take it away. If you choose to move this negative 7 or minus 7, how would you take it away? You would have to add 7 back. Do it to one side, do it to the other. What if you decided to move the 8 first? If that's just 8, I have to take 8 away. This is minus 3, and that's the one I'm going to do. I want to go ahead and put my m's together first. That's the best thing to do is put your letters together first, but you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to choose to move the negative 3 or the minus 3 because it's smaller than the positive number over here. So let's look at it this way. So instead of subtracting 3m, I want to add 3m. If I do it to one side, I want to do it to the other. So I can draw my line here, and I'm going to go from left to right. 2m plus 3m is now 5 times m. Go back up, go to the right. What's left over here? Minus 7. 5m minus 7 is equal to, because go back up, go to the right. I have my equal sign. Now go to the right. I have 8 by itself, so bring it down. Go back up, go to the right. Here we go. The minus 3, add 3. The They cancel each other out. So now this is what your test was on last time you took a test. So this is pretty easy. It's just a two-step equation here. So who's his best friend? It's 5, so I want to get rid of him last. I'm going to get rid of 7. So the opposite of subtracting 7 is to add 7. You do it to one side, do it to the other side. Draw your line. So what's left? 5m, or 5 times m. M and his best friend, huh? And then I have minus 7, add 7. That's going to cancel each other out. Then I had equals. And 8 plus 7 is the 15. Now that m is still not by itself, so now we have to break them apart from his best friend. If they have 5 times m, opposite of times is to multiply by 5. Do it to one side, do it to the other. The 5's went away, left me with m is equal to 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now all you have to do at home tonight is check it by hand. So that means wherever I had an m in the original problem, I'm going to plug in the number 3. Okay, so I'm going to write it back the way it is, 2 times m, but instead I'm going to use the number 3. So 2 times 3 minus 7 is equal to 8 minus 3 times 3. Two times 3 is 6, minus 7 is negative 1, is equal to 8. 3 times 3 is 9, so 8 minus 9 is also negative 1. So that means my answer of 3 was correct. Okay, now guys, I have a secret for you. You cannot tell anybody. This is only for those who chose to watch the video. You ready? Hold on. Don't tell anyone, but anyone watching this video knows we're going to push the test back from Tuesday to Wednesday. That's going to give us one more day to practice and really get this down. There are 22 questions in this area on your STAR test that comes up at the end of the year. So you've really got to know how to make sure you can solve variables on both sides of the equation. It's very important. Okay, thank you so much for taking your time out of your night to watch the video, to practice, so you're more prepared for the test and the rest of the unit. Okay, we'll see you again tomorrow.